Hello everyone, I'm Phoenix Tremaine, and today I'm going to be talking about Blackest Night. This is going to be for my 31 days of Halloween. I don't know what day you're watching this on, but Thursdays are going to be the Black Horror Movie Night. And tomorrow is the family-friendly Halloween night. So each day a week, there's a different theme. And yeah, I'm really glad that I picked Blackest Night as my Thursday uh, black themed horror Halloween night. Yesterday was for I did Hellbent, which because Wednesdays is like gay horror night. So like I said, each day is themed, but I never know what day you're actually gonna be watching this video. Hopefully you watch all the videos. But Blackest Night was directed by I hope I'm saying this right. Uh, Marit Legault. Marit Legault. Written by Sherman Payne. Starring Asha Cooper, Keith David, Mason Beauchamp, Fabrizio Guido, and Abby Gale. The movie is set in New Orleans and it's in present day after Katrina, where a dark-skinned young woman named Shauna is having issues with colorism. The guy she likes, Chris, is typically only seen with light-skinned girls. Her opening scene has her outside with her best friend covered up, afraid to get a tan, saying that she doesn't want to get any darker. And later on, we even get a dark-skinned vampire saying she's too dark, but at least she's young. So, colorism is a running theme throughout the movie, but I'm happy to say that it's integrated into her character, but I don't feel like it was heavy-handed. Started to get a little heavy-handed at the end, but I feel like they did just enough to sort of like make this part of like her journey, and I had to just cross my fingers that by the end of the movie she accepted herself and saw herself as beautiful the way some of the other characters in the movie saw her as. This movie sticks to the usual vampire rules. You burst into flames when you're in sunlight. You burst into dust if you're staked in the heart. Silver and garlic burns them. Their skin is cold and described as feeling like cold leather. They also have the ability to mesmerize and hypnotize you. With the way they have it in here is when you see them trying to mesmerize you, if you can hold on to a memory from your past or a memory in general, it doesn't work on you. Also, there's one very important rule that doesn't affect these vampires, which leads to one of the most exciting scenes where you're sitting there like, how the hell did they even get out of this? The pros of the movies is it's well written, it's well directed, and it's well acted. It got its message across without beating you over the head. It ended with a surprise ending and an opening for a possible part 2. I think that is strong enough to be a series on Amazon, not just like a movie. To really flesh out the characters, they introduce some interesting concepts and characters that I think a lot of people will want to know more about. The cons of the movie is a little annoying, and I kept saying to myself, how many times have I seen a white character do this? So, I mean, it's one of the tropes of horror movies. So I said I'm not going to be too hard on her. But the cons, my number one con is the way she kept running into danger without a reasonable plan. You know, going into a vampire den with no real plan other than, I'm going to get him. And they made a big deal about garlic, but in the final battle, they didn't bring any, which would have helped a lot. A lot. And garlic is cheap. They could have went by the supermarket or the corner store and grabbed a bunch of garlic before they went into a vampire den. But no, they didn't, which led to a lot of things happening. Things that I wanted to know. The brother was left with a vampire, and then we never saw how that kind of ended because he did something, and if I was that vampire, I'd be pissed. But we never get to see the vampire's reaction. Another character who made a huge interest and made a big deal about who he is. This is why I said it probably needs to be a series so we can flesh out characters like him. that he came and went like, they're like, did the actor have something else to do? It's like, I feel like the director just wanted to focus on uh, uh, the main teams for the final battle, but he could have been. Well, I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil too much, but you'll be looking at this like, where's such and such? That would help out a lot right about now. A character that should have died or been turned based on being left alone with three vampires while unconscious was perfectly fine. It's like they just left him alone. I think they really missed the mark with not having the father in the final act. How did they explain the house being torn up? How did they explain a certain person's death? There was a lot of things. That's why I said I feel like this would be better as a series, so you could really flesh out more of sort of like backstories and reactions to what happened or what's going on. This is not just this movie that I had this pet peeve with. I had this pet peeve with lots of horror movies, hundreds of horror movies, where at the end of the horror movie, so much chaos and destruction happened that, and I'm not saying this movie here, but they'll have somebody on a stretcher and like putting them in there like, we did it. Like, okay, so what about the police investigation? You give us like a little synopsis or something, a newspaper article, something. Let us know, well, how did y'all explain all of this stuff that happened? I know you didn't go to the police and say, it was vampires. Yeah, vampires. A directorial mistake, in my opinion, is I'm also a director, so sometimes I see things and I say to myself, this is such an easy fix. Why didn't this director just do this? So I'm gonna say this without hopefully spoiling it too much. But if you don't want to hear it, I recommend this movie very highly. I'm gonna be telling all my friends to watch it. So I'm giving this a great review. I am gonna mention one little thing. I'm gonna try to keep it vague enough. But since I'm not gonna do a spoiler video, I'm just gonna go ahead and say a director mistake that I felt was when someone had silver in their mouth. And then she had a quick one-liner before planting the stake, and the silver was already out the character's mouth, and I saw that actor just sort of like waiting to be staked, like, time is money, bitch. Time is money. So, anyway, but he just kind of waited for her to stake him, and an easy fix to this. My directorial senses kicked in. She put the silver in her mouth. While he screamed and hollering because silver's burning him, plant the stake. Then say your one-liner. Because vampires don't just die in this film. Even when they're staked, they pause. They look at you like, nothing's gonna happen. And then they scream like a banshee. And they scream and scream and scream, and everybody's like, ah! And then they explode into dust. So she could have said her one-liner, and then after she planted the stake, because it just didn't seem realistic that this particular character, wouldn't have fought a little harder. Just saying. So what is my last note? My last note. So, I had another, but had me, the vampire army, they show you a little animation that shows like thousands or hundreds of thousands of vampires in the army that he has been building. And when you get down to the final battle, it's the main villain and 3 vampires. So you couldn't get family and friends to be extras. You'd be, so I know it's probably due to financial costs and maybe due to C-19. But yeah, I would have rather them had said not a vampire army, but maybe he had specific bodyguards or something with him, and his army's just kind of still out there. But you had three little vampires and a main vampire in the finale. I'm like, it screened budget issues, but once again, there could have been easier fixes. Like I just said, he could have just as easily had been like felt he did what he had to do. Now he's in his resting place like Dracula. You open up the coffin and then a battle starts, or you find a way to make sure the other coffins can't open. You know, having maybe garlic bombs and stuff distracting them so that there could be a little final battle at the end or whatever. To explain why there aren't so many vampires. You could have had another person that I can't name because I don't want to spoil it. Maybe attack that person, and then they're hurt and they're like running away, but then that person gets attacked by a bunch of vampires, and while they're fighting those vampires, the main character goes off to try to finish them off. There's a lot. I'm a writer too, so there's lots of things that could have happened to make this scene make sense. But anyway, despite all of that, I really enjoyed this movie. And I guess my final thing I want to say, and I think I said that already, but is I know they did certain things for diversity, but you could clearly see due to casting that there were sort of like a bias towards certain characters, and that those diversity characters weren't needed. It's okay to just have, you're in New Orleans, it's okay to just have black cast. If that's what you're going to do. Because it was the reverse. It was like, normally we're tokens in a lot of these films, and in this film, it's kind of reversed the other way. And I get it, I understand it. But if you're going to have these tokens in the films, just give them a little bit more to do. That's it. So thank you for watching. I highly recommend this movie. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have a Prime membership, I recommend it because you can watch it for free. So I highly recommend this movie. It's a great night to just kick back with some popcorn and have some fun. And thank you for watching. See you in the next video, which will be the Muppets Haunted Mansion. So we're going from vampires doing their thing, so now we get to laugh and have some fun, hopefully, with Muppets Haunted Mansion for my Friday family night Halloween day.